In the year 1462, Sultan Mehmed II of the Ottoman Empire leads his massive army across the Danube River. The young conqueror, fresh from his triumph at Constantinople less than a decade ago, has set his sights on a new prize, Wallachia. But standing in his way is a man whose name will become synonymous with terror. Vlad, Prince of Wallachia, soon to be known as Vlad the Impaler. Mehmed already had a complicated relationship with Vlad, a man known to hate the Ottomans. But now, the Ottoman Empire's vast army marches northward with a single purpose: crush down the defiant Vlad once and for all. In June 1462, Sultan Mehmed surveys his massive encampment outside the town of Târgoviște. Tens of thousands of tents stretch as far as the eye can see, housing an army estimated at over 100,000 strong. There is music, the smell of grilled meat, and the pride of men who have earned the title of the most feared army of their time. In the middle of the camp is a large tent, decorated with gold and red. This is where Mehmed rests. But as they settle in for the night, they whisper tales of the horror they have witnessed on their march. Villages burned to ash, poisoned wells, and fields laid to waste. Some claim to have seen thousands of impaled corpses lining the roads, their lifeless eyes a grim warning of what awaits those who dare invade Vlad's domain. In his lavish tent, Mehmed studies maps with his generals and declares confidently, "Tomorrow we will crush this upstart prince and add Wallachia to our empire. Vlad's reign of terror ends here." But in the shadows beyond the Ottoman camp, a much smaller force gathers. Vlad prepares to launch a night attack against the invaders. With only 24,000 men at his command, Vlad knows he cannot defeat Mehmed in open battle. Instead, he plans to use the cover of darkness to sow chaos and terror among the Ottoman ranks. As Vlad addresses his troops, he proclaims, "Tonight we fight not just for Wallachia, but for all of Christendom. Let the Turks learn to fear the night itself." The Wallachian soldiers, a mix of horseback noblemen and foot soldiers, get their weapons ready. Many have serious looks, aware of the tough battle ahead, but Vlad's scary reputation and strong words give them courage. Under the cover of darkness, Vlad then leads his men towards the sprawling Ottoman encampment. The Wallachian prince has a plan. He intends to infiltrate the camp himself to locate Mehmed's tent and assassinate the Sultan. As they get close to the camp, Vlad tells his captain to spread fear and confusion. He says to kill as many as they can, but focus on destroying supplies and scaring the horses. He wants to make the Ottomans fear the very ground they are on. With that, Vlad puts on a stolen Ottoman uniform and sneaks into the camp alone. His men wait at the edges, ready to attack when he signals. Mehmed plans to let his troops rest for a day and a night before moving on. But suddenly, a stocky little man with a tall turban and a thick black mustache walks into the camp. He is dressed like a member of the Turkish landholding knights, the Sipahi, and speaks fluent, accent-free Turkish. As a result, no one questions his presence. But it is Vlad. Inside the sprawling sea of tents, Vlad moves quietly through the sleeping camp. His eyes scan for the fancy tent that would house the Sultan. Suddenly, noise breaks out at the edge of the camp. Vlad's men have started their attack, throwing the Ottomans into chaos. Taking advantage of the confusion, Vlad speeds up. Ahead, he spots a decorated tent guarded by elite soldiers. This must be Mehmed's tent. Drawing his sword, Vlad charges forward. The guards are surprised by what seems like an Ottoman soldier attacking them. His sword gleams in the torchlight as he takes down 2 janissaries before they can sound the alarm. He then rushes into the tent expecting to find the Sultan, but instead he sees the empty bed of the Grand Vizier. Vlad curses. He has attacked the wrong tent. Alerted by the fighting, more Ottoman soldiers rush to the scene. Vlad realizes his chance to kill Mehmed is gone. He battles his way out of the tent and blows a horn, signaling his troops to launch a full attack. Chaos breaks out as Vlad's 24,000 men charge in all over the camp. They set fire to tents and supply wagons, cut down groggy Ottoman soldiers, and sent panicked horses running wild through. Sultan Mehmed wakes to the sound of fighting. Stepping out of his tent, he sees his camp in flames. "What betrayal is this? Where are my guards? Bring me my armor," he shouts. As the Sultan's bodyguards rush to protect him, a band of Wallachian cavalry charges towards the royal pavilion. They are led by Vlad himself, who has finally spotted his true target. "Death to the Sultan!" Vlad cries as he bears down on Mehmed. But the janissaries form a protective ring around their leader, fighting off wave after wave of Wallachian attackers. The night is filled with the clash of steel, the screams of the dying, and the acrid smell of smoke as fire begins to spread through the camp. For hours, the battle rages on. Vlad and his men wreak havoc throughout the Ottoman lines, slaughtering thousands and destroying valuable supplies and equipment. But the sheer size of Mehmed's army begins to dull, and gradually the Wallachians are pushed back. As dawn breaks, Vlad reluctantly sounds the retreat. His gambit to assassinate Mehmed has failed, but he has struck a powerful blow against the Ottoman invasion force. As his troops melt away into the countryside, Vlad turns for one last look at the chaos they have left behind. Let them come. Wallachia will be their graveyard. The Wallachians disappear as quickly as they appeared. They leave behind a devastated Ottoman camp, thousands dead, supplies destroyed, and morale shaken. "How many men did we lose?" Mehmed demands. "At least 15,000 dead or wounded, my Sultan," a general replies. "And many of our supplies are burned." Mehmed's face darkens with rage. This Vlad is no mere prince. He is a devil. We must crush him utterly. Mehmed then commands his army to march on Târgoviște, the Wallachian capital. He is determined to crush Vlad. As the Ottomans near the city, they find it apparently deserted. The gates are open and no defenders are visible on the walls. Mehmed becomes wary of a possible trap, but orders his men to enter slowly and carefully. What they find inside will be seared into the nightmares of every man present. Just outside the city walls, a forest of stakes stretches for miles. Impaled on each stake is the corpse of an Ottoman soldier or official. Some of the bodies are fresh, others little more than sun-bleached skeletons. But at the center, on the highest stake, is the rotting corpse of Hamza Pasha, an Ottoman official Vlad had captured months earlier. The sight of 20,000 impaled corpses halts the Ottoman army. Even the toughest warriors are sickened by this scene. Mehmed himself is visibly shaken by the sheer scale of the slaughter. "What kind of monster is he?" the Sultan murmurs. Mehmed's closest advisor approaches cautiously. "My Sultan, perhaps we should withdraw." But Mehmed's pride will not allow him to retreat so easily. It is the Ottoman Empire that is being humiliated. So the army keeps moving forward. But what seemed abandoned isn't. Vlad has left a final surprise. As Ottoman soldiers step into the main square, hidden Wallachian gunners suddenly fire with their old cannons. The barrage only takes out a few dozen men, but it's the last blow to Ottoman morale. Yet again, panic spreads through the ranks, as soldiers start fearing every shadow hides another one of Vlad's traps. Seeing his army close to breaking, Mehmed reluctantly orders a retreat. The once mighty Ottoman force pulls back from Wallachia, chased by Vlad's hit-and-run strikes the whole way. As they march south, Mehmed stews over his defeat. This campaign was supposed to solidify his legacy as a great conqueror. Instead, he's been humiliated by a much smaller army. But Vlad knows this is only a temporary victory. Mehmed will return with an even larger army next time. But for now, Wallachia remains free. As Vlad walks through his cheering soldiers, he allows himself a rare smile. We have shown the world that Wallachia won't bend to foreign invaders. Let all of Europe know that as long as I live, this land stays free. The men roar in approval, chanting Vlad's name with a smile on their faces. Vlad, 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 Vlad. That night, the legend of Vlad the Impaler is born, a leader so ruthless and clever. The night attack at Târgoviște would go down in history as one of the most daring military operations of its time. Vlad's unconventional tactics and psychological warfare had succeeded in turning back one of the most powerful armies in the world.